Why hello there internet, I'm CSD from the Guild of Awesome, and today I'm here to review Digimon World 2003, or Digimon World 3 depending on where in the world you are. So Digimon World 1 was one of the first video games that I ever actually played, and I never completed it until I did the review. Digimon World 2 I never played until the review, and then I didn't complete it because it sucks so much. In fact, I'd even say I accidentally skipped over 2 because I didn't realise that it existed. Because, like I said, Digimon World 3 is called, in the UK at least, Digimon World 2003. Just like Digimon World 1, I never actually completed it until now, although I did have fond memories of playing it when I was a kid. You see, when I was a kid I didn't realise that this was actually Digimon World 3, because it's called Digimon World 2003 in the UK and Australia. So because of that, I didn't realise that Digimon World 2 actually existed until I saw it on Wikipedia years later. Why call it 2003? Not only is it called Digimon World 3 in Japan and America, but it was released in 2002. So yeah, there's lots of confusion over the name, but this is the third game in the series. I like the premise of Digiworld 3. In this universe, Digimon is an MMORPG, and it's like Sword Art Online combined with Pokemon. You can log into an online game with full-body virtual reality, then you go around battling city leaders, so they can give you a badge in order to progress in the game. So I'm not going to go far into the story. It's not great, but it is far better than the previous games. The gameplay is very similar to the Final Fantasy series, walking around an open world with random battles. And the battle system is similar to Digiworld 2, but it's far improved. You have a party of 3 Digimon, but can only have 1 Digimon in battle at a time. In battles you can do a basic attack, use items, or use techniques, like elemental attacks, or buffs, or debuffs. There are 2 unique features however, DNA Digivolving and the Blasted system. So I mentioned that you have 3 Digimon in your party, but you can only use 1 in battle. So you can swap them out mid-battle. And depending on which Digimon you have in your party, you can DNA Digivolve. So as an example, if you swap Stingmon and Exumon, then Paildramon will appear to do an attack as you're swapping the 2 Digimon. It's a good system, as you may need to change Digimon quite regularly. It's also a really good way to get an extra attack in. And for the Blasted system, well, you see this bar? This is the Blasted bar. This fills up when you take damage, and when it fills up all the way, your Digimon will Digivolve to the next tier of Digivolution, like from a rookie to a champion, or a champion to an ultimate, etc. So if you're using Patamon, you'll get Angemon. Then when you get Angemon, you'll get Magnet Angemon. Not only does it restore your health, but you get access to a powerful technique and a temporary stat boost. This is only temporary. After a few rounds, you'll revert back to your normal Digimon. The problem with this, however, is that you can't control it and you can't save it. So if you're trying to build it up before a hard fight, there's a chance you could blow it and get the blasted on a weak enemy with just a sliver of health. Like any other RPG, you get experience and can level up. When you do level up, you'll get training points, which you can spend at a gym to increase stats of your choice. And I love these little animations that play out. And of course, it isn't Digimon if you can't Digivolve. Unlike in previous games, Digimon can Digivolve to lots of different Digimon. You can even level up these Digivolutions to get even more powerful Digimon, or just learn more techniques. You can also equip each of your 3 party Digimon with 3 different Digivolutions each, and choose what Digivolution you start off as in battle. You can also swap to a different one mid-battle. Now here's where we find 2 massive problems with the game. The first problem is the experience that you gain from battle. XP is only given to Digimon that have actually fought in the battle, so this means you have to keep swapping Digimon around so they can level up evenly. It increases the grind considerably. It's nowhere near as bad as Digiworld 2, but it does get annoying as the game gets harder towards the end. Not only do you need to get XP for your 3 party Digimon, you need to get XP for your Digivolutions, which again increases the amount of grinding that you have to do. The second problem is Digivolution. So there are a crap ton of Digimon that you can Digivolve into depending on level and stat requirements. Like in the previous games, of course, they don't fucking show you what the requirements are. The problem with this is that there are a lot of dead-end Digivolutions, and you need to create a party of mega level Digimons as soon as possible. When I played this for the review, I didn't read a guide for Digivolutions until I got through a third of the game. Then I realised I was wasting time and experience on some of my Digivolutions. All it did was slow me down from getting a higher level Digivolution, and it just wasted my time. As I got through most of the game, I even thought it might just be easier to just raise one Digimon instead of training all of them. Now these two problems are bad, but they aren't what I call fatal flaws. No, the fatal flaw with this game is the backtracking. Backtracking is incredibly hard to do without annoying the player, but Digimon World 3 has some of the worst backtracking ever. I'm just going to use one example early on in the game. So you get to a train station, but you need a badge from the leader of the previous city. So you go back to the city, but the leader's not there. Speak to an NPC to find out he's in a dungeon in the previous area. You go to the dungeon, beat the boss, and speak to the leader. The leader won't fight you unless you beat Master Tyrannomon, who is in another area near the city. So you go to Master Tyrannomon and beat him. He gives you a token which you can give to the city leader. You go back to the dungeon, but the leader's not there. He's gone back to the city. So you go back to the city and fight him. He gives you a badge so you can use a train station. You go to the train station, but it says you need a blue card. You figure out that Guillimon has a blue card. There was a Guillimon back at the previous city, but he's gone. But I do remember there was another Guillimon back in the starting city. So I walk all the way there. I find Guillimon, but he says he doesn't have the card, his cousin does. And his cousin's on the way to the city we were just at. But he says he was also hungry, so he may stop for something to eat on the way there. There's an inn in between the two cities, so let's go inside and we find a Guillimon. He says a Guillimon in the nearby city has the card. We go into the city and find the Guillimon. He lets me have the card, but he laughs as I walk away. I go back to the train station, but the card was a fake, so we need to find Guillimon again. I go back to the city, but Guillimon's no longer there. Speaking to a Guillimon NPC in the city tells you that he likes to hide in basements. The inn that we were at before has a basement, so let's go check there. So I go back to the inn and he's hiding in the basement. He gives me the real card, then I can go back to the train station and it works. That's just one example, and that's not even the worst one. No, the worst part is that there are so many fucking times the game expects you to walk from one side of the map to the other. So many goddamn times. And the worst part is sometimes it teleports you. Why doesn't it do that every time? It wouldn't be so much of a problem then, or even just add a fucking fast travel system. There's also a strange problem where the map doesn't load fully, and you see these blue squares as it loads in the rest of the map. Okay, so I've been playing for ages, it's time to save. The music is really good and memorable, and the graphics are really good for the time, especially the yin battle models. Although the maps they're fighting look like ass, at least there's a lot of variety there. Like any other RPG, you can buy weapons and equipment to boost your stats. There are hidden areas where you can find loot, and there are dungeons to complete. There's also underwater travel, which just sucks balls. You're constantly floating up towards the surface, and if you move forward, it also moves you down. So what button do you press? You press triangle. Why triangle? It's only been the cancel button so far. They've also put a crap ton of annoying obstacles in your way. When you start the game, you get a choice of 3 starting Digimon, and halfway through the game there are quests where you can get all of the starting Digimon. But once you do get them, they're level 1, so why the hell would I use them? Like other RPGs, there are buffs and debuffs during fights, but I love the confusion status. It changes all the commands to something silly. The map is designed really weird. There are a ton of side areas that lead absolutely nowhere, and most of them don't have anything there at all. There is also a card game, but it's not that good. It's just a really shit version of the Witcher 3's Gwent. By the last third of the game, the difficulty curve skyrockets, and battles get really frustrating, and I start getting really annoyed with all the grinding. It took me 45 hours to complete this game, which really isn't that bad, and it's still a lot of content. So overall, this game has a lot of awful aspects to it, but there's also some stuff to like. If you have a guide on how to get the Mega Digimon, then you're going to have a way better time than I did, and you're also going to spend less time grinding. However, taking everything into account, do I recommend this game? I don't. There's a lot to like about this game, but there's just so much to hate as well. All the grinding and backtracking, it just really put me off. So how would I fix this game? Add a fast travel system. Have all of your Digimon out in battle, so you don't have to grind XP for each Digimon individually. And of course, either increase the difficulty of the enemy Digimon, or make it so you can fight multiple Digimon at once. Add items in the side areas of maps, and add more NPCs you can fight or do card battles with. And for fuck's sake, show the requirements for Digivolution. And that's all I can think of, so I'm CST from the Girl of Awesome, thanks for watching and stay awesome.